This is the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with your host, Vicki Davis.
Today's sponsor is Research Quest from the Natural History Museum of Utah. Stay tuned at the end of the show to see how you can bring these free, awesome, inquiry-based science lessons to your classroom. Welcome to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast today. So today we're talking to Misa Sato and talking about her remarkable work as an assistant principal of Reagan High School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Under her leadership, the school has received numerous awards for student achievement and has seen a significant growth in its International Baccalaureate career program. She is dedicated to her students and committed to creating diverse teaching opportunities, and it's truly inspiring. So today we're going to explore her story and the impact she's had on her school and community. And she is one of the 3 nominees for NASSP's National Assistant Principal of the Year. So thank you for coming on the show, Misa.
Thank you for having me, Vicki.
What are some of the things, the changes and the things you've been part of that you're most proud of?
One of the things that I'm the most proud of is the growth of our IB Career-Related program. The IB Career-Related program is a newer International Baccalaureate program. It started in the IB around 2010, and Reagan was one of the first schools that actually was authorized to become an IB Career-Related program. We were authorized in 2013. So within this program, we originally started with 2 career pathways for kids, so information technology and health science. And then most recent, about a year and a half ago, we started an education pathway for kids. Students essentially enroll into this program in the junior year or prior to their junior year of high school, and then do career-focused coursework and also fieldwork experience and internships that align with those career pathways, essentially so we can connect kids to community and job openings that we are currently seeing in the city of Milwaukee, but we know that it's also happening across the U.S. too.
So how many students do you have in the programs now?
Right now we have probably about 175. We started with 7 kids in 2013. So we've seen some tremendous growth, but I also think that growth is tied into just the job market that we're seeing, and kids are seeing applicable jobs within health science, information technology, and then in education as well.
So what are the students and the parents saying about the program?
The students are really invested. I think for them, it's a really cool high school experience to be able to kind of focus in almost on like a major that they would in college. So they take International Baccalaureate courses, which they can earn college credit in, but then they also get the exposure to the community side and are working either as youth apprentices or as interns. We have a handful of students that are working as certified nursing assistants right now. And so they're able to see how their coursework also translates to what they could be doing in the future. So that's really exciting for us and for the kids. For parents, I think that they're excited that we are kind of making those connections for kids within high school. And so they're not waiting for their students to go to college or post high school to kind of figure out what they're trying to do. Kids are making some decisions about their future careers a little bit earlier, which does save the kids time.
So what kind of impact does it have? This is a question I've heard a lot with this type of program. What kind of impact does it have if a student picks a quote major or a area of focus and then realizes, hey, I'm not interested in this. I want to do something else. Are they limited in any way by going on to college or changing fields? Does this limit them at all?
Absolutely no limit. And we actually encourage them if they're changing their mind in high school. That's kind of the beauty of this program is they haven't invested thousands and thousands of dollars in a college tuition and then changing majors, but they're doing it prior to that so they can make some more informed decisions as they do to go to college. And so there's no harm in them switching their mind or changing their minds, and that's something that we kind of encourage them to do, like explore what you're interested in now in high school so you don't have to do that exploration phase when you're paying for it.
So take me back in time. Change requires leadership and new things require leadership. And I want you to think of, since 2013, the hardest questions you were asked and your thought process in that moment and how you responded to that and how you kind of led through the hardest question.
Yeah, I think some of the hardest questions are like, how are you going to build a team? We know the school level, staff have a lot going on, and there's a lot of extracurricular requirements on teachers and administrators. And so trying to build a team of people that we know is going to build capacity, but then also be sustainable. And so that's been something that we have thought about, is how can we ensure that this program has staff that are involved that are really committed to the mission of what this looks like, but then also recognize like it is a lot of extra work to make sure that things happen and to make those community connections with students that do happen outside of their workday. And so just the value of building a team, I think, has been one of our challenges, but then also something that we've seen. We have gotten to this point because of our team. We wouldn't be able to be where we are today without any of the staff involvement that we have now.
So when you went to those teachers as the program was started and you were trying to get them on the team, what were some of the things that you said? How did you handle that conversation?
Something that has been really helpful is that I previously was a science teacher. And so a lot of the teachers on our team are science teachers and are invested in like the health science community outside of the school, and leveraging their existing relationships with community partners has been really key. Staff that are willing to invest their time when they see that their community partner that they've brought in is also going to be a part of this program.
So they kind of like the connection with the real world.
Is definitely like a core of the IB too. So it kind of goes hand in hand of what the work that the teachers are already doing in their classroom with their IB coursework, but then also just kind of makes a little bit more seamless transition for kids.
So as assistant principals across the world are listening to this podcast, you know, there's unique challenges with being an assistant principal, right?
Definitely.
What do you think some of those biggest challenges are, and what's your encouragement to help others in your same position to lead through the challenges of the current time? Because, you know, there's kind of the pre-pandemic, and then there's during the pandemic, and now post, and it seems like it's just all of our jobs have changed a lot, huh?
Definitely post-pandemic, definitely during the pandemic. I think my biggest piece of advice is just to be flexible. Pre-pandemic, we probably would have been able to say like, oh, in 5 years, this is where we want our school or our programs to be. Obviously, during and post-pandemic, everyone is kind of trying to figure out what that looks like. But I think my biggest piece of advice as an assistant principal is to be flexible. I mean, your day is never going to look like you want it to. Things will come up that you'll have to take care of and will take priority over other things. But I think we learned during the pandemic that flexibility from everyone is key, and just to be patient with people and with students and with parents. That's, I think, my biggest piece of advice.
We always joke about a beatitude I once heard from a former pastor. Blessed are the flexible, for they won't get bent out of shape. Because that's just where we are. Yeah. So as we finish up, you are one of the 3 nominees for National Assistant Principal of the Year. What is your message as you get opportunities to speak about the role of assistant principals? Because, you know, so many leaders of school just say without great assistant principals, it's really hard to have a great school.
That's a great question. So from my standpoint, I see my role as supporting both the students and the teachers. I feel like a lot of the times we're a good connection between those two groups of people. Making sure that everyone's able to advocate for what they need has been really, really important, especially post-pandemic. We've seen students needing a lot more trauma-informed care and teachers needing a lot more support in how to handle that with students. And I think that's what I see my role as kind of a connection, and even with parents, right? So connecting parents with teachers. And so I think having that role is really key in making sure that exists in your school building.
Well, Misa Sato, this is a very exciting program, and it does take leadership to lead and create programs, particularly during the past few years. So it's exciting that your career program has grown so much. And thanks for being on the show. Are you looking for engaging NGSS-aligned science lessons designed to improve critical thinking in your middle school students? Now is the time to sign up for Research Quest from the Natural History Museum of Utah. Designed by teachers for teachers, these online investigations are led by museum scientists and use the museum's incredible collections to create engaging learning experiences that are fun for your students and easy to implement. Check them out now. Go to www.coolcatteacher.com/research quest. That's coolcatteacher.com/research quest. and sign up today.
You've been listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. If you like this program, you can find more at coolcatteacher.com. If you wish to see more content by Vicki Davis, you can find her on Facebook and Twitter under Cool Cat Teacher. Thank you for listening.